I could have found that in my childhood had I chosen to love myself, had I chosen to focus more on
gold.
me and working on me as opposed to trying to fit in and be something I wasn't. It's sometimes hard to see the progress you're making because you're so in it. You were so into starting to witness and see these past experiences or these aspects of you that don't quite feel nice. These aspects of you where you've showed up being selfish or a bit greedy or a bit shut down or a bit defensive or a bit judgmental. And we can often get caught up trying to be in the movie rather than witnessing the movie.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
And therefore, it's unknown. Now, part of our pre-existing patterning from the critter neurology, right, is anything that's unknown is automatically deemed as unsafe, unsurvivable.
Yes.
So working on yourself and your mindset is perceived automatically unsurvivable. We haven't had a past experience of it until, like we spoke about, like you've been doing this for a while. You can now see, all that like pain or breakup equals breakthrough. I've got enough experiences now where that's survivable. I can lean into it more. But the first time you had that first breakup, right, your whole world fell apart. The first time you failed, everything fell apart.
Yeah.
And so the only way to get here or to get there is to realize it's part of the journey and fucking lean into it. You know, I talk about in chapter 14 of my book around my beliefs around entrepreneurship and how our ability to truly connect with what it is to be an entrepreneur is our ability to truly connect to be what it is to be ourselves, fully expressed and unaccompanied by anything else, by any past realities, past belief systems, social networks, social norms, social environments, to be fully expressed through a business. And I think that is the core of building a fulfilling and purpose-driven business. I had the opportunity to transform my relationship with money forever, and it has.
Ooh.
And, you know, Tony Robbins shares a similar story in one of his wealth trainings as well around, you know, he went out to buy himself lunch at a buffet. He'd been saving up. He was eating 1 meal a week because he didn't have a lot of money. And he saw this young man walk in, this young kid in a tux with an elderly lady. And he's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm taking my mum out for lunch. Now, Tony was so blown away by this experience that he decided to give this kid all of his money. And it was the only money he had at that point in time. And he said, that was the moment that I was no longer allowing myself to be controlled by money. And I had a very similar situation where I chose to double down on something that I believed in, even though I didn't have the financial capacity at the time, because I just was like, this feels right.
Yep, I get that.
Tony got home. He shares that he got home that night and had a check in his mailbox from a friend that had owed him money for a long time that had been uncontactable. And not only did he get the check, but there was a bonus in there for his patience and to say sorry the same day. He's like, that was the day that I learned to no longer allow money to control me. We've been brought up in a system, you know, it's been ingrained in us from a young age, most of us, right, around this hold that money has over us. Now, coming back to what you just shared, Mel, it's like you've got to this stage now where you feel so joyful and so alive. Like I would emphasize, I've had a similar experience for myself. I could have found that before the money. I could have found that before the business. I could have found that before my time freedom. I could have found that in my childhood had I chosen to love myself, had I chosen to focus more on me and working on me as opposed to trying to fit in and be something I wasn't. Like I spent most of my life trying to be the round peg in a square hole and wondering why I never fit in, but it's because I was constantly trying to be someone I wasn't. The moment I stopped that shit and just started being me, all of a sudden people turned up that were my people, right? Clients, staff, friends,
emotional,
partnerships. My people showed up because I was being me. And that's not because of the money I've earned or created all the time. That's because I've chose to finally step into who I am and who I'm here to be. And no one else in this world can be me. Just as they can't be you, just as they can't be anyone else watching this right now. Like everyone is worthy of being here and having an abundance. Everybody.